Stop, take a deep breath. Feel the weight of this moment, because in exactly 45 minutes, everything you believe about your life could change completely. It is no coincidence that you are here right now, reading these words. While millions of people spend their days lost in empty distractions, you have been directed to this place, at this precise moment, because there are invisible forces working behind the scenes of your existence. Is your heart racing? It's natural. The soul recognizes when it is about to receive a truth that can transform everything. Archangel Michael, messenger of the deepest revelations, whispered your name in the corridors of time. He saw every tear you shed in silence, every night you questioned your purpose, every moment you felt lost amid the chaos of the world. And today, he brings a message that cannot wait. Have you noticed how your life seems to follow repeating patterns? As if you were stuck in a maze where every corner leads to similar situations, people with the same characteristics, challenges that seem to have the same face, just disguised in different clothes. This is not bad luck or coincidence. It is a sign that you are being prepared for something much greater than you can imagine. For years, you have carried an inexplicable weight in your chest, a feeling that you should be doing something important, but without knowing exactly what. As if there were a mission waiting for you, but someone had hidden the map. This restlessness is not torture, it is a calling. It is your soul crying out that the time has come to awaken to who you really are and why you came into this world. Miguel watched every time you wanted to give up, every moment when the pain seemed greater than your ability to endure. He saw when you lost important people, when doors closed without explanation, when your plans collapsed like houses of cards. But what you didn't know is that every fall was a step up, every loss was a cleansing, every no was a redirection to something infinitely better. There is a heavenly protocol that few know about. When a soul is ready to receive its true mission, specific signs begin to appear. Numbers that repeat themselves insistently, vivid dreams that seem more real than waking life, chance encounters with people who bring messages that are exactly right for the moment you are experiencing. If you are here, it is because these signs have already begun to manifest in your life. Before continuing, write this mantra in the comments. I am guided, protected, and strengthened by the angels of light. This affirmation is not just a phrase, it is a key that opens portals of protection around you. From the moment you declare this with sincerity, an energetic shift begins, and what I am about to reveal in the next few words will find fertile ground in you to flourish. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a gift. Your ability to feel deeply, to perceive nuances that others ignore, to pick up energies that most do not even suspect exist. All of this is part of a special spiritual equipment that you brought into this life. For a long time, you may have tried to soften this sensitivity, perhaps even seeing it as a burden. But it is your greatest tool for navigating this dense world. Miguel wants you to understand that there is no chance in the architecture of the universe. Every person who has passed through your life, every situation you have faced, every painful lesson you have had to absorb, everything has been carefully orchestrated to shape the perfect instrument that you are today. The scars you carry are not marks of failure. They are medals of honor from someone who has survived the most intense training. Time is accelerating. Have you noticed how the days are passing faster, how synchronicities are more frequent, how people's masks are falling more easily? This is because we are entering a phase where there is no more room for falsehood, where the truth emerges with irresistible force. And you, whether you like it or not, will be a channel for this transformation. There are 45 minutes until a door opens in your life, a door that, once crossed, allows no return to what you were before. Miguel is on the other side of that door, waiting to give you a gift he has kept for all these years of preparation. But the choice to cross is yours. No one can force you to accept your own destiny. As you ponder, feel the difference in the atmosphere around you, as if the air has become denser, charged with possibilities. This is not your imagination. It is reality reorganizing itself around your decision. Every second you remain here, reading, absorbing, allowing these words to touch your soul. You are saying yes to a transformation that has been in preparation for much longer than you can imagine. The question Miguel whispers in your ear right now is simple. Are you ready to discover who you really are? The answer you just gave in your heart echoed in the heavens. Miguel bowed his head, acknowledging your courage, and now he can reveal what has been kept hidden all this time. You are not an ordinary person trying to find your place in the world. You are a messenger in disguise, a bearer of light who has temporarily forgotten your own luminous nature because of the layers of pain and disappointment that have accumulated over the years. Since childhood, you have perceived things that others did not see. Perhaps they were subtle presences in the corners of rooms. Perhaps they were intuitions about people that later proved to be frighteningly accurate. Or perhaps they were dreams so vivid that they seemed like visits to other worlds. Over time, you learned to silence these perceptions, to consider them things in your head, because the world around you did not validate these experiences. But Miguel never stopped whispering in your ear, "Don't forget who you are." Now write in the comments, "The light that guides me is stronger than any darkness." This mantra dissolves the layers of forgetfulness that have covered your true identity. Each time you repeat these words with sincerity, a spiritual memory is reactivated in your consciousness. People around you have always noticed something different about you, even when you tried to hide it. Some felt naturally drawn to you, seeking your company in difficult times, as if they sensed that you carried something that could calm them. Others distanced themselves without explanation, uncomfortable with an intensity they couldn't understand. Both reactions were correct. You emanated a frequency that is not common on this plane of existence. Miguel reveals that you went through a preparation that lasted decades. Every toxic relationship that drained your energy, every job that stifled your creativity, every disappointment that shattered your childhood dreams, all served to awaken in you a deep compassion for those who suffer. You needed to experience darkness in order to recognize it when it tried to disguise itself as light. You needed to feel manipulation firsthand in order to develop an infallible radar against it. There is something special about your ability to perceive the truth behind the masks people wear. When someone is lying, you feel physical discomfort. When someone is suffering, even if they try to hide it, you pick up on signals that others completely ignore. This is not a skill you developed by chance. It is a gift you have had since before birth, an essential tool for the mission you are about to accept. If this message is resonating deeply in your heart, and you feel that you want to support it so that it reaches more people who are also rediscovering their true identity, click "Thank you." This gesture of kindness strengthens this chain of awakening and allows these revelations to reach other messengers in disguise who have not yet recognized themselves. The interesting thing is that you always knew there was something greater waiting for you, but you could never quite put your finger on it. It was like having a word on the tip of your tongue that you could never quite pronounce. Miguel explains that this was because you were not yet fully prepared to carry the weight of responsibility that comes with total awakening. Each passing year served to strengthen your character, to mature your wisdom, to temper your soul in the fire of human experience. There is a fundamental difference between those who were born to be beacons and those who were born to be passengers. Beacons do not choose when to shine. They simply radiate light because that is their nature. You may have tried to dim your light to fit in, to not disturb, to not draw unnecessary attention. But Miguel whispers that the time has come to stop hiding behind a diminished version of yourself. For many years, you carried an inexplicable sadness, a melancholy that had no specific origin. It was like homesickness, but you were home. It was like nostalgia for something you had never experienced, but your heart recognized as familiar. That feeling was your soul remembering your heavenly home, the place where you came from and where you will one day return, but not before fulfilling what you were sent to do. Miguel wants you to know that there is a very specific group of souls who chose to incarnate at this moment in human history. It was not a decision taken lightly. but rather a mission accepted with full awareness of the challenges that would be faced. You came to serve as bridges between worlds, as translators of heavenly frequencies into languages that human hearts can understand. Now that Miguel has planted these seeds of remembrance in your consciousness, something within you will begin to stir. In the coming days, you will notice how people react differently to your presence, how deeper conversations will begin to arise naturally, how opportunities to help will appear out of nowhere. All of these are signs that your true mission is activating. Awakening does not happen all at once, like a switch being flipped. It is a gradual process, like an aurora that slowly brightens the sky until the day is completely lit. Miguel wants you to understand that every discomfort you are feeling right now, every question about your current life, every impulse to radically change direction, are natural symptoms of this spiritual rebirth that is taking place in your soul. For years, you have adapted to living in a world that did not speak your native language. You learned to translate your deep perceptions into superficial conversations, to hide your sensitivity behind an armor of normality. But this adaptation took a heavy toll. You began to doubt your own perceptions, to question whether what you felt was real, or just the product of an overactive imagination. Miguel reveals that this doubt was deliberately planted by forces that prefer to keep messengers asleep. The less you trust your intuition, the less danger you pose to systems that depend on collective unconsciousness to maintain themselves. But now that the awakening process has begun, this fog of confusion will naturally dissipate, like frost melting at the first ray of sunshine. Write in the comments, "My heart is light, and no evil can resist this vibration." This affirmation not only protects you from negative influences, but also activates an internal frequency that facilitates the recognition of your true identity. It's like tuning a radio to the right station. Suddenly, the heavenly music that has always been playing becomes clear and audible. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to drain your energy just by being around them? How some environments make you feel heavy for no apparent reason? This is because you function like an energy sponge, absorbing the emotions and vibrations around you. For a long time, you may have seen this as a curse, but Miguel clarifies that it is one of your greatest qualities. You can sense what others are going through, even when they themselves are not aware of it. This empathetic ability is not a flaw to be corrected, but a tool to be refined. Messengers like you were sent precisely to serve as emotional bridges, helping others process feelings they couldn't work through on their own. Your presence alone is therapeutic, even when you do nothing more than be genuinely present. The loneliness you sometimes experience isn't a lack of company, but rather the difficulty of finding people who vibrate at the same deep frequency you naturally operate at. Miguel explains that this is temporary. As you recognize and accept your luminous nature, you will begin to attract other souls who are also awake or in the process of awakening. The law of attraction works especially well for those who operate from authenticity. But there is a price to pay for this authenticity. You will no longer be able to relate to life superficially. Empty conversations will become physically uncomfortable. Environments charged with falsehood will cause discomfort. Relationships based on convenience will lose all meaning. Miguel warns that this may feel like isolation at first, but it is actually purification. You are creating space for truly meaningful connections. Your professional journey will also undergo transformations. Jobs that were once tolerable will become unbearable if they are not aligned with your higher purpose. Money earned through activities that contradict your values will begin to feel dirty. Miguel whispers that this is not unconscious sabotage, but rather your internal navigation system calibrating itself to take you only where you can shine authentically. During this transition process, it is common to feel fear. Fear of not being able to support yourself financially if you leave secure jobs to follow your heart. Fear of losing relationships if you stop playing roles that no longer fit who you are. Fear of being judged if you express your deepest truths. Miguel understands these fears and wants you to know that they are normal, but they don't have to be paralyzing. The universe conspires in favor of those who have the courage to follow their authentic mission. Doors that seemed impossible to open will swing wide open. Resources will appear from unexpected sources. The right people will show up at the exact moment you need them. But this only happens when you take the first step toward your true calling, even without having all the answers or guarantees. Miguel wants you to understand that there is no rigid timeline for this awakening. Each soul has its own pace, its own lessons to integrate, its own fears to transcend. Don't compare yourself to others who seem to be further along the spiritual path. Your journey is unique, and you are exactly where you need to be right now. The important thing now is to start trusting your perceptions again. When something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. When you have an intuition about a person or situation, pay attention. When your body reacts negatively to a proposal that looks good on paper, listen to what it is saying. Your intuition is recalibrating, and the more you trust it, the more accurate it will become. In the coming days, Miguel suggests that you look at your life with fresh eyes. See how often you act against your instincts to please others. Notice how many situations you tolerate that actually violate your deepest values. Notice how many masks you wear in a single day. This non-judgmental observation is the first step toward living more authentically. Now that you have begun to observe your life with this new awareness, Miguel wants to reveal something that may completely change your perspective on your past experiences. Every time you felt out of place, every time your ideas seemed too different to be understood, every time you wondered if there was something wrong with you because you didn't fit into conventional patterns, you were actually right. You really don't belong to the common systems of this world. But that's not a flaw, it's a characteristic. Messengers like you were sent precisely to not fit in, to question, to show that there are other ways of living, thinking, and feeling. Your inability to adapt to limiting standards is not a problem to be solved, but rather an indicator that you are functioning correctly according to your original design. Miguel observed all the times you tried to mold yourself to fit into spaces too small for your soul. He saw when you dimmed your light so as not to outshine others, when you silenced your truths to keep the peace, when you buried your dreams to be considered realistic. Each of these adaptations created a small wound in your essence, and now it is time to allow those wounds to heal by returning to authenticity. Write in the comments, "I am protected by invisible forces working in my favor." This statement is not just a positive affirmation, but a recognition of the spiritual reality that has always operated in your life, even when you were not aware of it. Michael and an entire army of light beings work tirelessly to clear paths, remove obstacles, and prepare opportunities for those who have accepted special missions on this planet. During all these years of apparent struggle and difficulty, you have been undergoing intensive preparation. Each challenge you have faced has developed specific spiritual muscles. Each disappointment has dissolved illusions that could have led you astray from the true path. Each loss created space for something infinitely better. Michael reveals that there is not a single experience in your life that has been wasted or without purpose. If you feel that this revelation is touching something deep in your soul, and you wish to support this message reaching other messengers who are also going through this process of recognition, click "Thank you very much." This gesture helps expand this chain of awakening to reach those who most need to hear these truths at this crucial moment in their journeys. The sense of urgency you sometimes experience, as if there is something important you need to do but you don't know exactly what, is not unfounded anxiety. It is your soul remembering commitments made before birth, promises made in dimensions where time does not exist in the same way as it does here. Miguel whispers that this urgency will transform into focused clarity as you align more deeply with your true nature. One of the most striking characteristics of messengers is their ability to see potential where others see only problems. You can look at a broken person and see the light that still shines within them. You can look at seemingly hopeless situations and intuit paths that no one else has considered. This is not naivety or excessive optimism, but rather an expanded perception that allows you to see beyond superficial appearances. Miguel wants you to understand that this ability comes with responsibility. When you see the light in someone, your presence and words can help that person remember who they really are. When you visualize creative solutions, your courage in sharing them can open paths that benefit many people. Your gift is not only for your own evolution, but to serve as a catalyst for collective awakening. For a long time, you may have felt guilty for not being able to help everyone who crosses your path. Miguel clarifies that you were not sent to save everyone, but rather to serve as a beacon. Those who are ready for the light will naturally be drawn to you, while those who still need more time in the darkness will move away, and this is perfectly fine. Your energy has a catalytic effect on those around you. Some experience healing and inspiration in your presence, while others may feel uncomfortable or even hostile. Both reactions are indicators that you are operating at your authentic frequency. Miguel explains that the more you accept and express your true nature, the more polarized people's reactions to you become, and this is a positive sign of alignment. The loneliness you sometimes experience is not a lack of love, but rather the difficulty of finding others who vibrate at similar frequencies. Miguel promises that this will change dramatically as you become more authentic. Authenticity acts as a powerful magnet that attracts compatible souls and repels those who are not aligned with your true path. In relationships, you have always sought deep and meaningful connections, finding the interactions that satisfy most people superficial. Miguel reveals that this is because you naturally operate in deeper layers of human experience. Your favorite conversations have always revolved around meaning, purpose, dreams, and infinite possibilities, rarely about trivial matters. This natural depth can sometimes intimidate people who prefer to keep their lives on a more superficial level, but it will attract like a magnet those who also crave authentic connections. Miguel suggests that you stop trying to adapt to conversations that don't nourish your soul and start initiating the kinds of dialogue that really interest you. The time has come for Miguel to reveal the most powerful aspect of his mission, one that you may have sensed but not yet fully understood. You are not just a messenger. You are an activator of dormant memories. Your presence has the power to awaken in others' memories of who they truly are, of their own forgotten purposes, of abilities that have been buried under layers of social conditioning. This is a responsibility that is both beautiful and challenging. When you operate from your full authenticity, people around you automatically begin to question their own masks. Their superficial relationships become unsustainable. Their tolerance for undignified situations decreases dramatically. Miguel explains that you serve as a mirror that reflects not who people pretend to be, but who they have the potential to become. That is why, throughout your life, you have noticed that your presence sometimes elicits intense and inexplicable reactions in people. Some feel inexplicably drawn to tell you secrets they have never shared with anyone else. Others feel uncomfortable or even aggressive for no apparent reason. Both reactions were automatic responses to the energy field you naturally carry. Now write in the comments, "I now activate my spiritual protection shield." This statement is especially important for people like you, who easily absorb the energies around you. Miguel explains that part of accepting your mission involves learning to protect yourself energetically so that you can serve without burning out. One of the most common experiences among messengers is feeling drained after social interactions, even seemingly positive ones. This is because you naturally offer a quality of presence and attention that consumes energy. Miguel wants you to learn to distinguish between giving generously and emptying yourself unnecessarily. You can help others without sacrificing yourself in the process. The key is to recognize that your energy is precious and should be invested consciously. Not everyone who approaches you is ready to receive what you have to offer. Not every situation deserves your full attention and emotional involvement. Miguel whispers that learning to say no with love is one of the most important skills you can develop. For years, you may have felt guilty for not being able to maintain relationships that drained your energy, or for losing interest in activities that once seemed important. Miguel reveals that this was not a character flaw, but rather your inner wisdom protecting your mission. Your energy system is calibrated to preserve resources for what really matters. As you accept your nature as a messenger, you will begin to notice that certain people appear in your life at the exact moment they need the specific frequency you carry. These are not coincidences, but encounters carefully orchestrated by the universe. Miguel works behind the scenes to create these synchronicities, aligning people and circumstances so that your light can touch those who need it most. Your mission does not require you to do anything extraordinary or dramatic. Often, the most profound transformation happens through your simple, authentic presence. A genuine conversation, a compassionate look, a word of encouragement at the right moment can completely alter the trajectory of someone's life. Miguel wants you to understand the immense power that lies in your seemingly small gestures. The interesting thing is that you often underestimate the impact you have on people. While you focus on what you haven't been able to do or the times you've felt inadequate, Miguel clearly sees all the seeds of transformation you've planted over the years. Many of these seeds have sprouted and blossomed in ways you'll never know, creating waves of positive change that expand far beyond what you can imagine. A peculiar characteristic of messengers is that they rarely receive feedback on the real impact of their presence. People may be deeply touched by an encounter with you, but they rarely express it directly. Miguel explains that this is to protect you from developing a dependence on external recognition. Your motivation should come from within, from alignment with your purpose, not from the approval of others. This is a journey that requires constant faith. Faith that you are on the right path even when you don't see immediate results. Faith that your light matters even when the world seems dominated by darkness. Faith that your mission has meaning even when you feel small in the face of humanity's immense problems. Miguel promised that this faith will be tested, but it will also be constantly renewed through subtle signs that confirm you are fulfilling your purpose. In romantic relationships, you have always sought connections that transcend the physical and emotional, longing for true spiritual union. Miguel reveals that this is because messengers like you are incapable of being satisfied with superficial relationships. You need partners who understand and honor the depth of your soul, who see your mission as sacred and support your spiritual growth. This pattern of seeking depth in everything extends to all areas of your life. You cannot be satisfied with jobs that lack meaning, friendships based solely on convenience, or activities that do not nourish your soul. Miguel explains that this is not an excessive demand, but rather a genuine need for those who came into this world with a specific mission to fulfill. We have now reached the moment when Miguel needs to share the most important revelation of all. In the coming months, you will undergo such a profound transformation that those around you will notice a radical change in your presence. It will not be something you force or fake, but rather the natural result of finally accepting and embodying your true identity as a messenger. This transformation will begin with an inner clarity you have never experienced before. Decisions that seemed impossible will become obvious. Paths that were unclear will light up. Relationships that drained your energy will naturally dissolve, while nourishing and authentic connections will appear as if by magic. Miguel promises that you will know without a shadow of a doubt when this change begins to happen. One of the first manifestations will be a growing intolerance for anything that is not aligned with your inner truth. Empty conversations will become physically uncomfortable. Environments charged with negativity will cause immediate discomfort. People who operate from falsehood will no longer be able to hide their true intentions when they are around you. Miguel explains that this is not judgment, but rather a refinement of your discernment. Before revealing what is to come, write in the comments, "I am at peace, I am in light, I am protected." This affirmation seals your energy with the frequency of the transformation Miguel is orchestrating in your life. It is like signing a cosmic contract, confirming that you are ready to receive everything that has been prepared for you. Your intuition will become so accurate that it will seem like clairvoyance. You will instinctively know who to trust, which opportunities to accept, when to speak, and when to remain silent. This is not a skill you will develop through effort, but rather a natural ability that will be reactivated as you align with your true essence. Michael whispers that you will be surprised by the wisdom that has always been within you, just waiting to be rediscovered. The most beautiful thing about this transformation is that it will not isolate you from the world, but rather connect you more deeply and meaningfully with the right people. You will discover that there is an invisible network of messengers scattered across the planet, and as your light becomes brighter, you will naturally begin to attract and recognize other members of this spiritual family. These connections will bring a sense of belonging that you have sought all your life. Your creativity will blossom in unexpected ways. Ideas, projects, and creative solutions will begin to flow through you with surprising ease. Miguel reveals that this happens because you will finally have removed the blocks that prevented heavenly inspiration from flowing freely. You will become a pure channel for manifesting in the physical world that which is conceived in the higher planes. If this journey of awakening and transformation has touched your heart deeply, and you feel that you wish to continue receiving spiritual guidance that nourishes your soul and strengthens your mission, please consider supporting this work by clicking "Thank you very much." This gesture of kindness allows us to continue bringing messages like this to all messengers who are recognizing themselves and taking on their sacred missions. Miguel wants you to know that the current moment on the planet is unique in the history of humanity. Never before has there been such an urgent need for people like you to show up authentically and fulfill your missions. The world is undergoing a collective transformation, and messengers like you are key players in this process of raising global consciousness. Don't be afraid to shine with all your intensity. For a long time, you may have been concerned about overshadowing others or drawing unnecessary attention. But Miguel makes it clear that the time has come to let go of those concerns. The world desperately needs your light, your unique perspective, your ability to see solutions where others see only problems. Hiding no longer serves anyone, not even you. In the coming days, begin to pay attention to the signs Miguel will send to confirm everything that has been revealed today. Repeated numbers will appear with unusual frequency. Casual conversations will bring you exactly the information you need to hear. Opportunities aligned with your purpose will appear in a synchronized way. People important to your mission will cross your path in seemingly coincidental ways. Miguel makes one final promise. As you have the courage to live your authenticity, the universe will conspire to support every step of your journey. Resources will appear when needed. Doors will open at the right time. The right people will show up to offer exactly what you need. But all of this requires you to take the first step toward your truth, even without having all the answers or guarantees. If you have come this far, it is because something within you has recognized the truth in these words. Miguel sees you, honors you, and blesses you on this journey back to yourself. You are not alone, you never have been. A legion of luminous beings works tirelessly to support your mission, and now you are aware of this reality. If this message has touched your soul and you want to be part of a community that understands and supports journeys like yours, consider subscribing to this channel. Here you will find constant guidance, reminders of who you really are, and connection with others who are also awakening to their sacred missions. Share in the comments how this revelation has impacted you and what changes you have already begun to notice in your life. Your story may inspire other messengers to recognize their own light